Hey, David, welcome along to the Morning Wake Up here in little old New Zealand. It is so good to have you a part of our show. We're a breakfast show on a Christian radio station, and we pump your music, man. We love it.
Thank you. Appreciate you doing that.
Okay, David, so tell us a little bit about your child. I'm not sure if it's a son or a daughter. I apologize for that. But I read on your Instagram that you recently cut your hair and your child did not have the greatest reaction.
Hey.
Yeah. So I've got two kitties. I've got a 3-year-old and a 1-year-old. And the 3-year-old was very disturbed. I was actually going to shave my whole head because I have dreadlocks. You probably can't see because we're not doing video here.
I can actually see you, David, which is amazing. You do have dreadlocks.
They're very long too, well over a foot long. How long have you had the dreads for?
I've had them for 4 years, I think now.
Cool. Wow.
So pretty long, and it was full, and they are hot. And they're sort of annoying, and I was ready to be done with them. And so I went in the bathroom with a pair of clippers, and I'm sitting there contemplating and went, got one of them, and that was the start. My son was sitting there standing in the room watching me do it, and he goes, "Daddy, put your hair back on."
Yeah, you can't go back, actually.
So I shaved the sides and then I left the top. So baby steps.
Yeah, so now you got an undercut on the sides. So you sort of got dreads on top with that sort of shaved number 0 look on the sides. You're stuck with that, right? Because you can't regrow the underneath with normal flowing hair and have dreadlocks on the top because that's going to look crazy. So you're sort of stuck with this look, I think, until you eventually just shave the whole thing, right?
Yep. That's pretty much the whole story right there. Is once the dreads are gone, like I gotta go all the way down to a 0 on the old clippers. That's the way I gotta go. Because if you don't, there's all these gnarly little, like, dreads are just knots, right? A bunch of knots, and so my hair has trained itself to grow into these knots.
Right.
And so you have to shave all of that off so it'll grow straight again. It'll be a whole thing.
My word of advice to any young person out there wanting dreadlocks at some stage in your life, do it while you're young, because I always thought I'd do it later on in life, and then life decided that I was not going to have hair anymore.
My advice for anyone who wants to get dreadlocks out there is don't get dreadlocks. Not worth it.
Okay, well that's David Dunn's opinion, and let it be known. Hey, so we're chatting to you. You got a new single out called "The Greatest." We've been playing it here on the radio quite a bit. Tell us a little bit about your song.
Yeah, a big portion of the reason that song came into existence is because of social media. Specifically in quarantine, there was this mostly negative wave of sentiment around everything, right? Politics, race, body physique. There was just an endless array of people who really pumped on the internet just so that they could squabble and then go back to their lives. And the truth of the matter is that it's not really real. First off, right? This is sort of a new age where we live in, to where we have our real lives and we have our fake lives, and I would like those two things to become more of the same. Is our fake lives, which is Instagram and Twitter and Facebook, to where we say things that aren't actually us because of the anonymity of a keyboard, and then you get your real life where you treat people like you actually treat them. And so the song sort of started there, and then it went to cancel culture, which is sort of where all roads lead in social media. And cancel culture really says this is, you've done something that's pretty crappy, right? It's usually something that's pretty crappy. You've done it, and usually it's 5 to 50 years ago, but we found it and you did it. Look at this thing. Let's ruin this person's life. And I understand that, right? I understand the judgment involved justice involved in judgment of somebody who's done something awful. The problem is that for believers, if that's the world we live in, it's completely devoid of grace and mercy. It's lacking Jesus, really. It's just the judge and an executioner, and there's no love. And so the greatest is my response to cancel culture, which I understand. I get why it exists. It needs to be tempered with love, compassion, mercy, and grace. And so that's what the greatest is about.
David Dunn with us at the moment. David, when you wrote this song and when you knew you were going to put it out there, and it's all about love being invasive and love being kind of the key to all of our relationships, and because it was inspired by social media, did you go back on your own Facebook page or your own Twitter page or whatever, to 2010 and just double check? Or did you go back through that cringe fest of when you used to have entire conversations with people on Facebook on your wall and stuff like that? Did you go through and see what you wrote?
I didn't. So go ahead and do it, and then we'll talk about.
There might be someone who wants to try and ironically catch you out just because you wrote the song against that very thing. Speaking about the greatest, I know there's a completely different interpretation of the song, but you're obviously a real good musician. What is something else that you are great at outside of just singing and music stuff?
Golf.
Whoa.
Oh, yeah, it's interesting.
That's great.
I said that really fast because it's more like I am desiring all of my being to be really good at golf.
Yeah.
Rather than actually being a scratch. I'm not actually a scratch. But I play pretty well. I shoot like in the high 70s.
Do you have a handicap?
I do. I have. I right now I'm at a 12.
Well, that's legit. If you know even what that means,
I don't know what that
sounds like
means.
you're a golfer to me.
I'm so confused.
Have you ever met a famous person on a golf course? It seems like you meet famous people on golf courses.
Oh yeah, lots of them.
David Dunn lives in Nashville, and I'm pretty sure
home of famous people.
You're not allowed to live in Nashville unless you are a musician of some sort. So you can't even go to the supermarket without bumping into Dolly Parton or someone of the like. I did notice when I was Googling you, David, you share the name with two other famous people. David Dunn is also a famous footballer, and in the English Premier League, and is also the title character in an M. Night Shyamalan movie.
Whoa.
Like a thriller type. Unbreakable, that Bruce Willis plays, where he's that guy who, he can't be hurt. And Samuel L. Jackson is the glass man who always gets hurt. And they, find each other.
Bruce Willis, his character in that show was actually based off of me.
Oh, yeah, it's great. And an ironic twist, they play golf together now.
Hey, David Dunn, it's so good to have you a part of the morning wake up. What's new with you? What else is happening in your world? Because we live on very opposite ends of the world, kind of. What's new in your life?
Oh God, 2 little kids. That feels pretty overwhelming at this point. A lot of music making, right? We're still sort of making our way. When I say us, I mean America. We're sort of making our way out of COVID. And so, normal music life really hasn't flipped around. So comparison, before quarantine and after, I think the year before, I played just under 100 shows.
Whoa.
And in 2020, I played 11.
Right.
Wow, yeah.
11 in 2020, and then this year I think it's going to end up being 30. So hasn't come back all the way, and so a lot of what I've been doing is writing a ton, and now I'm trying to produce out my next record. So
that's cool. That's exciting. Yeah, we kind of asked what's happening over there because we don't hear anything about America now that Donald Trump's not the president anymore. You've elected a really boring guy who just sort of does stuff in the background and doesn't make headlines all the time. So here in New Zealand, we don't get to know what's happening over there anymore.
That's funny that he doesn't make headlines in New Zealand. he makes a lot of headlines in America.
Oh, yeah. Well, that makes sense. I mean, he's your president. He should be in the news. But Donald Trump was worldwide. So, but, that's all kind of died down now.
Oh.
Hey, David, you were talking about concerts before, and you're going to do a little one for our listeners over Zoom for us today.
Yep, I am. First, I'm gonna get my 3-year-old who's banging on the door. And tell
Okay,
him to stop.
great.
Yeah. Say hello from us.
Yeah. Would you guys like to hear him say hello?
Yes,
Hey,
please.
Yeah, we would.
Hey, Rhodes. Want to come say hello to people? Uh-oh. Just don't get on camera because you are naked. Hello, everybody.
Hello, everybody.
That's
Oh.
cute. Hey,
Hello.
mate. Hey, Rhodes.
They saying hello, you hear him?
Yeah.
Do you hear
Hello.
the funny accent?
We're from New Zealand.
They're from New Zealand. That is a country. Do you know what a country is? Thanks for coming in here, buddy.
Very
Can you
cute.
hang outside and not bang on the door?
He'll give you a metronome. He can be your
Oh,
drummer.
this is-
Featuring
this
on the
is so
the
good.
drums in the background.
Perfect. Close the door and maybe go put some shorts on just in case you get in front of the camera.
Are
Oh,
your
no.
kids into music, David? Have you noticed? I know they're very young, but some musicians, their kids, they're like, yep, they started playing the drums already.
You want to know what? This is interesting, but I have, since the moment my kids popped out of the womb, I have been desperate for them to not be into music,
Whoa.
to instead be into sports. A whole lot more. This is so selfish, but I'm going to tell you the truth. It's so much more fun as a parent to go to a soccer game than it is a cello recital.
Amen, man. And
Aw.
you do get to sort of direct them. I mean, you can't totally choose, but you can sort of, shunt them down a certain path a little. That's good.
And it feels like at this point that my kids are both very interested in music and not very interested in sports. So their favorite thing is when I'm in here messing around with stuff is to come in and dance around in circles, which is fun.
That'll be
Yeah,
good.
that's
That's
cute.
awesome. Okay, what song are you going to play for us, David? And tell us a little bit about it, and then you can take it away when you're ready.
I'm gonna try to play the greatest,
Oh, amazing.
Fantastic.
Okay, when you're ready, David.
which I still haven't done yet. So this is first go round here.
Yes.
Wait, hold on. Do you mean this is the first time you've played this live or something? What do you mean?
It's the first time I have played it this way.
On
I
Zoom.
played it with-
Okay, yeah, cool.
Other people who play it, I'm just standing there singing. So I've done that a couple times, but I haven't actually played it this way.
Okay.
Now, I don't want to sort of tell you how to do your job, but it may behove you to turn the piano down a little bit on your end if you can.
Uh-huh.
We've got your piano coming through pretty hot.
How about now?
Still pretty hot, man. Keep
Yes.
going down. Keep
That's
going
blasting.
down. Oh, yeah. That's good.
That's better.
Okay. Let's try it. We forgot about the context. It's like we're walking around with bad breath. And everybody knows it but me. And we're busy with our neighbors, or popping off to strangers. We tell them see you later next. You and me, we disagree. But it doesn't mean can't love each other. Let's go back to the basics, where love is invasive. It's the greatest. Back to the basics, where love is invasive. It's the greatest.
stop building defenses and start mending these fences and love like Jesus did. Stop building defenses and start mending these fences and love like Jesus did. 'Cause that's the greatest. So what about the real ones who in and out of season, they love without a reason? Why? So maybe nothing makes sense no more. Maybe we could open up locked doors. Maybe we could be like the Lord. Listen up, slow down. Take a pause, put your guard down. Love each other. Let's go back to the basics where love is invasive. It's the greatest. It's the greatest. Back to the basics where love is invasive. It's the greatest. It's the greatest. Stop building defenses. Stop mending these fences. And love like Jesus did. That's the greatest. Stop building defenses and start mending these fences and love like Jesus did. 'Cause that's the greatest, yeah. That's the greatest, yeah.
Ladies and
That's it.
gentlemen, David Dunn, live on Zoom. Amazing. David, get rid of the band. You don't need them. That was so good, man.
Here's the only thing I'm worried about there. I have no idea what the piano sounded like because you guys maybe turned it down so much.
No, it sounded way
Oh,
better. It was fantastic.
Yes.
Wrong, the right key. Hopefully it was right.
No, it was good, man. Oh, because you couldn't hear it in your own ears. I see. Hey, well, look, you're a total pro. It sounded fantastic, and I love that. And cool to hear a different sort of rendition of the
Yeah,
song, like in
man.
that sort of slower way. You know, it sort of accentuates the lyrics a lot more, and
Yes.
you really hear the heart behind it. Is it quite hard when you're recording? Like you said, you're sorting out some new songs and that, like trying to decide how you present them in the end, like whether they're kind of a slower stripped back thing or you want to like speed them up, get a bit more pump to them. Do you try out like different variations of your songs?
Kind of. Usually when I write a song, so mostly I write behind the computer with pianos and guitars, and so I'm sort of like making tracks and then writing on top of them. So I usually have a general idea of where I see a song going before I actually put it down in the studio. But sometimes there's about faces. The Greatest is not one of them. Greatest started with a track that's pretty close to where it ended up, and but a lot of this record is going to be very different from The Greatest. This next record, I think about half of it is going to be closer to folk than pop.
Awesome.
Yeah, so I wrote a ton of songs with a bunch of country writers.
Cool.
So Nashville, Tennessee, home of country.
Yeah.
It sort of just happened by accident one day. Is I landed in a room with a guy who was a pretty substantial country artist, and we were like, all right, well, let's just give it a shot. And it was an incredible song. It was like one of my favorite ones. It was a different kind of writing, and it was really fun for me because it's outside of my scope of what I normally do. And so I wrote a bunch with a bunch of country guys, and 6 songs on the next record are going to kind of be like, I don't want to say Mumford, but
Oi.
Hey man, you do you, and I think it will sound amazing. I just want to tell you this on the just before you go, that I have gone on the record, and I'm not sure how it works in music circles, if this is a compliment or not, but someone remixed your song It As Well, the Portrait remix of that. Now, I'm not sure if it's offensive that is my favorite song because someone else has obviously done a little bit of fiddling around with it. But I have gone on record as saying that is my favorite song.
Wow.
That's great, man. Thank you for saying that. Appreciate that.
Is that a compliment? Because I do know that someone else has done some fiddling around with it.
Oh, it's a big compliment. It's I'm heavily involved in that whole thing.
Well, I will
the
say
guy
this:
who remixed it. Sort of. Go on. What you got?
we got we played it so many times on our show that we got banned from playing it because we'd played it too much. Because we'd always just drop it in. We'd be like, oh, what's a jam? What's like a feel good song? What's just pumping in the mornings? And it's your song, it as well. It's so good.
Love that. Thank you for telling me that. It's great.
I have a question, and this may just absolutely come to a very quick dead end. And if that is the case, we can just move on to another one very, very quickly. But I did notice in a video you were wearing a T-shirt that says freak across the front of it. Now, that is in reference to the Greek freak, Giannis Antetokounmpo. Did you watch the NBA Finals? Did you watch the Bucks? Are you a fan, or you just own a T-shirt because you thought it looked cool?
I am a huge Giannis fan.
Yes!
Big fan. So I like he's the guy in the NBA that I pay attention to. I love watching him play. I think sort of now he's had some like viral moments happen after the NBA championship, and people realize he's like a super cool cat. And so I feel like the rest of the world is now joining me in our adoration of the Greek freak. But yeah, I'm a big fan.
Yeah, I think everybody got on board when he finished the day after scoring 50 points and winning their first championship in 50 years in the finals. And then he went to Chick-fil-A and got 50 chicken nuggets for breakfast the next day. Everyone just thought, you know what? This man is the real deal.
Can relate. Oh, so good. Hey, David, it has been an absolute pleasure catching up with you. Thank you so much for spending some of your time on The Morning Wake Up.
Yeah, glad to hang with you guys.